Very recently, Limbus Company's latter half of 2025 Roadmap Livestream had happened, outlining Project Moon's plans for the rest of this year up to the release of the next Canto. The stream contained a bunch of different teasers and announcements, which riled up the community in all sorts of ways. Some of the info was already known or expected, but a lot of things are completely new and very interesting. But there's just one problem. The stream was conducted in Korean, and English translations came only via text. As we all know, Project Moon fans cannot read, which is why I've decided to make this recap of all the things that have been shown in the livestream. This video will go over everything that will happen to Limbus Company in the coming month, and I'll also add some personal speculations about the new identities that have been teased. So sit back, relax, maybe subscribe while you're at it, because we're about to jump right into the future of Limbus Company. Although, before we start, let me shout out Static Panda for once again translating the entire livestream in real time. That person is a pillar of this community. I'll link the Google Doc with the translation in the description if you're interested in reading through it on your own. But now, let's jump right into the announcements. The first thing that was shown on stream was the graph of monthly and daily active users of Limbus Company throughout the game's lifespan. This isn't an addition to the game, but I still think it's pretty cool to see just how far the game has come. The amount of players has more than doubled in the last year, and if we compare it to a point earlier than that, you can see that the growth is nothing short of incredible. Limbus is almost going mainstream at this point, and it's awesome to witness as a long-time Project Moon fan. Although our lovely VTuber director over here might not share that sentiment, as the rapid growth has definitely put more pressure on him to perform. But, you know, the cycle of they can't possibly top this has been going strong, so I have faith in Project Moon. Anyways, let's actually look at the new additions that are coming this year, with the first of them being Mirror of Immortality, a new mirror dungeon. Finally, our monotonous grinding simulator will see a bit of an overhaul, which will breathe new life into the mode. The combat format for this version of MD will be centered around 7 Sinner battles, fully embracing the expanded team as the new norm. The Mirror Dungeon will also see a visual overhaul to better mesh with the current season. Personally, I think the UI redesign looks kinda cool and very refreshing. However, the changes to the Mirror Dungeon are not all visual, as the Starlight system is making a return, replacing the Rest bonus. Unlike Rest bonus, which gets used up when you enter a dungeon automatically and has a pretty low cap, Starlight can be accumulated and stored until you want to use it. As you can see here, the Starlight that you have accumulated can be spent on many things that can improve your runs. You can get starting bonuses, much like with the current Rest bonus system, as well as choose starting ego gifts that are tier 3 or lower. However, some gifts may be excluded from the list of available starters. You'll also get the option to search for theme packs, which is honestly kinda hype, as well as the option to raise the chance of your gift fusion not screwing you over. As you can also see, the Starlight Shop refresh function was planned initially, but will actually not be coming to the game, which is also something I am fine with. Another really fun addition to the Mirror Dungeon game mode that you can expect is the identity rental system. This is similar to the support system that has been in the game forever, but instead of using your friends' identities, you get access to IDs with preset egos for a limited time, which will allow you to experience the mode without having a decent team of your own. By the way, it seems like when using this system, you will only be able to get one out of the 3 weekly bonuses per run, instead of grabbing all 3 instantly. So I guess you'll have to play more mirror dungeons? We'll have to see when it's actually released. The mirror dungeon will be rolled out over a couple of weeks to iron out any issues and bugs that may come up. Also, the 10th floor mode will not be available instantly, but will come out a bit after the initial release of the dungeon. So I guess the 4 people that actually enjoy going to floor 10 more than once will have to be satisfied with normal runs for a little bit. Additionally, more general ego gifts will come out over time, making the experience of the mode less stagnant. With this, the MD segment is over, and we can actually get into the meat of the announcements. Starting, of course, with the next Walpurgis Night. The theme for the next iteration of the event is Hatred and Despair, clearly referencing the Queen of Hatred and Knight of Despair abnormalities. Not much info is given about the event, however, we do know that we'll be getting 2 IDs and 1 ego. Most likely, the identities will belong to the ego suits of the 2 abnormalities that I mentioned before, but we have no idea what the ego might be. It could be King of Greed, it could be Queen or Knight again, just like we got Solemn Lament last year, or it could be something completely different. I'm curious to see what you think it will be, so leave a comment if you have any theories. Oh, and also, we got this darkened teaser for Queen of Hatred Don Quixote, and upon brightening the image, we get this. Very cute, I can't lie. Also, Project Moon keep buffing the Dondons, and I don't know why. But anyways, many players are speculating about the potential abilities of the new Dawn identity, so I've decided to throw some of my own theories here. Considering that this Walpurgisnacht will be based on Lobotomy Corporation, it's safe to assume that Project Moon will try to adapt the special ability of Queen of Hatred's weapon from that game into Limbus. In LobCorp, the weapon deals damage of any type, randomly selected on each shot. So I feel like we could get another Ring Yi-Sang situation with randomized debuff infliction on the new identity's skills. However, considering the deep hatred for Ring Yi-Sang in Kim Ji-hoon's heart, they might not use that gimmick ever again. Alternatively, the ID might provide healing to allies under certain conditions, or better yet, make use of unfocused volley or attack weight to hit allies alongside enemies, healing them in a similar way to Soup Claire. But this is just my theory, so if you have something more interesting, feel free to share down below. With this, we're moving on to the next announcement, which is the rerun of Time Killing Time. Sadly, the event will feature 1 identity and 1 ego, and not 2 identities, so it might not be able to save Tremor from the depths of hell, but I guess we'll have to see. Also, the funny Hubert guy will be available as an announcer, which is something that probably 5 people care about. Still, it's nice to see the Tremor-focused Intervello come back, as the team needs a lot of help right now. And also the soundtracks there are absolute bangers. After that, we got a teaser for the season highlight identity of Honglu. It's currently being developed, but it seems that the idea for this unit is to let him use the Heisho pack identities we already have in combat. He will also most likely make use of allies in backup slots, and depending on how the final version will do that, it could make Shichun Ishmael much more valuable, as she has ways to shuffle around her allies in different slots. Once again, we'll have to wait and see, but I would be amazed if the two don't synergize in any way. After this, we're getting our first Intervello, Hierarchus Maker. This title could be changed in the future, but the storyline is what many of you expected. At the end of the newest Kanto, the sinners decided to help Shichun become a respectable hierarch by putting her through a training arc. And this training arc will be the Intervallo. During the event, we'll get a Wei identity as well as a new Heisho pack unit. There's no info on the latter, but we can expect the former to be Wei Yisang as seen in Ishmael's Uptai 1 artwork. Also, we're getting a new announcer again. Hooray, I guess. Next up, the Arknights collab. We already knew that we're getting 4 egos from the event, but an interesting clarification has come up. The content from the collab is classified as true limited, meaning that unlike Walpurgisnacht stuff, it will actually never come back. So I hope you've been saving up, because there will be just one chance to get all the egos. After the collab, we're getting another rerun, and this time it will be Murder on the Warp Express. The rewards in the event are currently undecided. There will be 2 new pieces of content, but whether it will be 2 egos, 2 identities, or 1 identity and 1 ego remains to be seen. Also, once again, we're getting a new announcer, and this time it's a bit more interesting because the announcer is the train itself, which could end up quite funny. A bit later down the line, a second Walpurgisnacht event will come, and it will be centered around guests from Library of Ruina, following the alternating order of the 2 games. We have no idea who the theme for this VoLP will be, so I am very interested in hearing your thoughts. If anything, this could be the perfect time to finally rid Wellwader of his shackles and release the She Association. But it could just as easily be something like the Index Proselytes. After this, the 9th anniversary of Project Moon will happen, and Kim Ji-hoon says that it probably won't be anything big, as the devs are working hard on the upcoming events and collabs. After the anniversary, something quite unexpected will happen. Refraction Railway 1 will come back to Limbus Company and become always available content. The level scaling for this can go in one of 2 ways. Either the enemy levels will be raised to match those of our own, or a cap will be imposed on our identities, so that we don't grossly outlevel our opponents. Which option Project Moon will choose remains unclear. After this funny little re-edition of content, Kanto 9 is planned to be released in mid-December. And yes, that does mean that we're not getting a second Intervallo or a new Refraction Railway this season. The Arknights collab should roughly be the size of an Intervallo in terms of content though, so it's not like the season will be empty. However, the loss of a new railway will definitely leave the veteran players starved for competitive content. However, if Project Moon deemed the release window for Kanto 9 to be unrealistic, they can delay it until sometime later, and give us the second Intervallo and a new Refraction Railway instead. Considering PM's track record with delays, the chance of that happening is honestly quite high, so if you're a die-hard Refraction Railway lover, not all hope is lost. In the meantime, Limbus Company will get a bunch of quality of life and UI improvements that aim to make the gameplay experience better for all players. First up, we have the loadout UI redesign, which, as Kim Ji-hoon explained it, should make the screen more similar to a card game, whatever that might mean. Now, the things that are on your screen are subject to change. But honestly, this doesn't seem too different from the current UI. At least not different enough to really care about it. Though I guess the more compact UI could be better for mobile. Maybe, I don't know. This part is very different though, and it looks quite cool. Seems like there will be a favorite mechanic, judging from the star in the top right corner, which will help you find your beloved identities even when the total amount starts piling up. The next part of the UI improvements is actually very awesome, as it helps Limbus players with the one thing they're the worst at – reading. Whenever you face an enemy with an important gimmick, the passive effects explaining that gimmick will be put at the top of the list and outlined in a way where you really cannot miss them. This change aims to improve the readability of enemy gimmicks, which might help those of you who voted for lay-hang nerfs to finally develop some kind of skill at the game. Also, a similar priority ranking system will be added to enemy skills, allowing you to judge at a glance whether you need to prioritize clashing with a certain skill. Once again, this should help the players that refuse to read, as it will let you know when something scary is being used by the enemy, even if you can't be bothered to look at the skill itself. Limbus Company will continue to have only one difficulty. However, if the two previous changes are not enough to make you win fights easily, a third mechanic will be added to the game in order to allow you to beat any tough encounter with ease. The mechanic is Continue, and it will revive all of your sinners mid-fight if you lose, for a certain amount of lunacy. Both paid and free lunacy can be used for this, and if you spend lunacy on a fight that was subsequently nerfed, you will be refunded. This should allow the players that don't really want to deal with challenging encounters to progress through the story, as that is the part of Limbus Company that most players really enjoy. Although, beating stages by using the continue function will not count as an EX clear, so you won't get extra rewards. Next up, we have some content that is still in development. The first thing here is the identity skin system. This is supposed to allow you to dress up a strong identity that you're using as a different identity that might not be as strong but you like more. It's taking longer than expected, so maybe don't expect this anytime soon. But honestly, I'll wait as long as I need in order to dress up every Otis as Barber Otis. We will also eventually get an optimization patch aimed at reducing the file size of sprites in the game, which will definitely help out the mobile players a lot. Next up, Project Moon are finally working on a new game mode that's supposed to encourage you to get more identities. Currently, you play mirror dungeons to get strong IDs, and then you use those IDs to beat Refraction Railway. There are a couple of options for a mode like this, and currently Project Moon are looking at some ideas like some kind of board game with dice that has true roguelike elements, or a type of content where you start off with weaker identities and get stronger ones over time. Also, we could get something that gets constantly updated, like a raid boss of sorts. Honestly, all of these ideas sound very fun, and I would love to see any and all of them in Limbus Company. Also, in the future, we can expect Threadspin 5 to make an appearance. Yes, Threadspin 5, not Uptype 5. The reason for that is the fact that egos are much longer lasting than identities, so you can justify spending more resources on them, as you will keep using them at all points of the game. Threadspin 5 won't be rolled out to all egos at once, and instead will first be given to underpowered skills that really need an upgrade. Although, with time, we'll get more and more Threadspin 5 ego skills. After this announcement, Kim Ji-hoon proceeded to talk about the state of the company right now, saying that it's difficult to keep up with the expectations of the growing player base. Also, he acknowledged some memes made about him, which was pretty cute. Oh, and also Project Moon is hiring. So, if you want to work on your favorite game, I guess you can apply. After this, we got the first look at the new Thumb East Capo Merceau and Thumb East Soldato Sinclair. I won't spend much time on these units, as you have probably already seen their trailer. But the important parts are that Sinclair can give ammo to Merceau, while Merceau does actually get his huge 6-coin combo as some kind of extra skill. Although the skill will only have 5 coins, which is quite unfortunate. Also, 1300 Lunacy was sent out to all players after the livestream. And yeah, that's where the stream ended. These are all the things that you can expect to happen to the game this year, and honestly, I'm eagerly looking forward to most of them. It sucks to lose an Intervello and Refraction Railway, but A, we might not even lose them, and B, getting Ryoshu's Kanto earlier sounds awesome, as I really want to see her story. Oh, and by the way, thank you all so much for 20,000 subscribers. This means a lot to me, and I would have loved to make a big cool video to celebrate, but I'm kinda drowning in exams at the moment, so I can't make anything big. However, I can assure you that as soon as I'm done with my IRL stuff, you'll get a lot of things, like a Discord server for example. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye!